長官ユナイテッドエンパイア今日は試合があったそして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよみんなブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables Arena. This is the Broken Tables Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
Jeff, I'm gonna hold on. I want you to listen to this real quick.
Yes.
That is the most refreshing noise in the entire world.
You know what? I'm not sure I was able to hear it. I don't know if the mic picked it up.
It didn't pick it up? Oh, that's
No,
weird.
it
I was
might
right
have-
in front of it.
It might have filtered it out
opening-
thinking it was a bad noise, but I know exactly
Ah.
what it sounded like, so
It
yeah.
was the opening of a delicious liquid death.
Yes. All right, welcome everybody in chat. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We got Coach Nick. How you doing tonight, sir?
What's up, Coach?
Right on. Anybody else that is in chat, welcome to you guys as well. So tonight we're here for our AEW Rampage review. This was a pretty decent episode of Rampage. Nothing to write home about, but it was definitely a decent episode, and we got a lot of things explained for the next week or so. So I actually I kind of enjoyed that. We got a lot of things tied together and matches put together. So pretty nice.
Yeah, I thought it was a meaningful Rampage, which I think
Yes.
that's really important. It's really good to have that. Good to see you're doing good, Coach. I'm doing pretty good. It was a nice Friday, Got to work from home today, which is always nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got an email today saying like, "Hey, you're gonna have to start coming back to the office," and I was kind of like, "Yeah, no, not gonna happen."
Is it like mandatory?
No, it was like to everyone, and my boss was like, "Yeah, you can ignore it for now." So we shall see. But all right. So I don't know if you noticed here tonight on Rampage, but the very first thing that we saw for the Rampage, video package that you see to open the show was MJF's face. Did you notice that?
I did.
Yeah, that was very obvious, and like it was like very zoomed in right there in your face. MJF's face was the first thing we got to see tonight. I actually really like that.
Something else that I noticed that I did notice about the video package was that Malachi Black is still in the video package.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that's really interesting. I think it's very interesting he's still in the package, considering that they took Punk out, they took the Bucks and Kenny out, and they added MJF, but they kept Malachi in. And I think if it was a straight up release like people are talking about, I think that's a really interesting decision to keep him in there.
No, I think he'll be back. They're still calling it the House of Black and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I think he'll be back. But we started off tonight with Matt Hardy versus Darby Allin. This was a very good match. Not quite as good as I was hoping for, but at this stage of Matt's career, I think this was the best we're gonna get right now without being on a pay-per-view or something. There was this spot in this match where Darby had set Matt up on the apron, where basically it was just Matt's head that was on the apron. And Darby did a front flip, I guess a senton, trying to land on Matt's head. And, of course, Darby crashes and burns onto the apron. I checked, by the way. That is the hardest part of the ring.
It is. No, that senton was nasty.
But, dude, if he had landed that, Matt's head would have exploded. Like, I'm like, bro, he just tried to kill him. He just tried to murder Matt Hardy.
And that senton is also extremely wild, considering how precise Darby had to be with that senton. Like, you go one way and
They
you're
could
hitting the
use me
ground, you go
instead
the
of
other
Matt
way, you're
Hardy.
bouncing off the ropes. Like, yeah, that's impressive. It's not even like it's a coffin drop where you're kind of just falling and you can kind of feel where you're falling. Like,
Yeah.
wow, he sentoned. And I was like, oh my god.
He almost did a swanton bomb. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if that's what he was going for, but
You know, it was because he did the Hardy.
yeah, he did. He did. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that had to hurt. That was pretty nasty there. But Darby crashes and burns. You know, this was a great match. Matt hit 2 side effects back to back. I thought that was actually it. I thought Darby was gonna lose after the double side effect there. But no, Darby hits that Last Supper, that crazy roll up figure 4 pin that he does. Gets the 1, 2, 3. As Darby walks, what's that? Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as Darby walks down the the tunnel, we get the lights going out, and the lights come back on, and we got Brody King and Julia Hart in the ring. Brody King destroys Matt Hardy with a freaking lariat from hell, and demands a microphone, and he calls out Sting and Darby. Says, that this isn't over with. You can cut off the head of the snake, but there's still plenty of venom left. I thought that was a really good line. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it looks like at the pay-per-view, what was this match turned out to be? It's going to be, I guess, Brody King and...
It's going to be a tag match, a no disqualification match. The House of Black, the remaining members at the moment, versus Sting and Darby.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love the philosophy kind of the match, where Matt's working as this veteran, and not only as this veteran, but you could tell based off how he was kind of countering Darby. Like, obviously people make the connection between Darby and Jeff, and I just felt like it made a lot of sense for Matt to be working very smartly against Darby. It's kind of how I read it as.
That actually does make sense, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, of course, Matt would know how to fight Jeff, and a younger Jeff who's more inexperienced. So, during the match, Matt was obviously slower because of where he is in his career, but it just felt really cool because it just felt like he was being the smart veteran who's like, I know how Darby's going to handle this. I'm going to be smart about things.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. It makes it make a little bit more sense to me.
Yeah, and again, I love the House of Black. I just think Julia Hart's just incredible.
Oh, the laugh she did was perfect. That was so good.
Brody has Matt in the sleeper on the apron, he's trying to get them to accept the match. Julia just kicks his legs out he's he's hanging now, and I'm like, this is incredible. Julia Hart is
Dude,
killing it.
You know how in high school yearbooks there's the most likely to succeed type people and most improved type stuff? Julia Hart should be winning a freaking gold medal for the most improved wrestler in AEW. If you could go back to when she was in her cheerleader gimmick compared to the way that she wrestles her matches now and the way that she carries herself now, it is not even the same person at all. And she is fantastic now in the ring. I don't know if you've been watching her matches on Dark and stuff, but they're great. I love it. Julia Hart's, she's going to become one of the big stars here. I'm almost sure of it.
Her match, especially this week on Elevation, really stood out. It was really good. There's this one sequence that she does that was just so smooth, where she kind of ends up face planting her opponent, and she's on the ground next to her. Just the sequence, it was just so smooth and it worked so well. And yeah, she's been doing excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up was one of the things that made me extremely happy in wrestling over these past couple weeks of a little bit of downness, we got an Eddie versus Sammy package. So, remember we've been talking, good on Eddie, good on Sammy for squashing their beef backstage, and it kind of looked like they kind of squashed the match, like as if the match wasn't going to happen. But here we are. We're back to the match going to happen. We got a good video package from Eddie. I don't know what's going on with Eddie. He's letting himself go, man. That beard and his voice. I don't know if they're doing that on purpose, but he needs to clean it up a little bit.
So Eddie tweeted this a little bit after the video package aired. He said that it is a cut down version of a much longer promo that he believes will be on a Road 2 show on Tuesday.
Okay.
Somebody tweeted and said, like, I know a depression beard when I see it. And he's like, you're going to have to check out my promo on Tuesday.
Oh, I know a depression beard when I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he basically said that he's been through a lot since the Blood and Guts match. And I think that promo is going to be that. So look forward to that. I'm sure it's going to be really, really good. But like you said, yeah, I'm glad they're doing this match too. I think this is a really good match to have, especially in New York, Eddie's hometown. So yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I do believe it said something about a 2-hour Rampage as well, didn't it?
Yeah, so this upcoming week, Dynamite and Rampage are both going to be 2-hour shows.
And are they going to be both live?
No, they're going to tape Rampage on Wednesday.
Really?
Yep, so it's going to be Elevation, Dynamite, Rampage, 5 hours.
That's not our... Okay, that's going to be the Grand Slam Rampage then, right?
Yep, that's Grand Slam.
Thank God. I was like, please don't tell me that's our Rampage. We'd been there till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Dude, grow up, man. I would love a 2-hour Rampage, a 2-hour Dynamite, and
give
me 5 hours of wrestling.
The podcast would suffer. That's where I'm saying.
I'm already getting my money's worth, but like, give me more money's worth.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
More value.
Oof. Yeah, Nick, I'm right there with you on that one. All right, next up was Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta in the ring with Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone didn't stay in the ring for long, like always. This is something I've actually been holding off on for a while till I noticed it happening again. Almost every time Tony gets in the ring with somebody to do some sort of an interview, it's almost like 75% of the 75% of the time they just kind of take the mic and go off, and then he disappears. Like, he gets out of the ring like off camera and they just kind of go off,
I think most of the time it's just because it escalates. Like, a lot of times the heel will be like, get out of my face, or it'll like escalate. I think that they have Schiavone there as a starting point, which I think is a lot more natural than just having a wrestler come down to the ring and grab a microphone. Obviously, you don't always need to do it that way, but I think it makes it a little bit easier because you're kind of transitioning. When a wrestler starts a promo, they kind of just go out there. If there's no one out there to bounce off of, you're just kind of like, okay, well, let me start. And some wrestlers do better than others with starting a promo. I think they threw Schiavone out there just to kind of give them a starting point. They're like, okay, well, Claudio, you defended your title last week. Like, what's going on? It's vibe check. And I think that's what they use him for. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think that the interviewer should ever, play a big part of a promo. I mean, like, obviously they can feed some one-liners to you, but that's more of a backstage vibe. Yeah. I don't really need Schiavone in the ring with Claudio and Yuta doing all this, and then Jericho comes out, and then Schiavone's just kind of standing there awkwardly. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. It doesn't bother me that much.
I got you. It was just something I started noticing for a little while. All right, so Claudio basically says the Blackpool Combat Club is the new symbol of excellence. Jericho, being on commentary, obviously is going to have a problem with that, so he gets up and, as we were all suspecting, as he hinted a few weeks ago, he challenges Claudio for the Ring of Honor World Championship. That's an interesting one. He's a 7-time world champion, so I think what they're doing is Jericho is basically saying this is going to be number 8. So they're kind of putting the Ring of Honor World Championship like up on a pedestal with the rest of the organizations, right? Is that kind of how you're feeling this come across?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jericho puts over, all the places that he's been a world champion. He's been world champion in WCW. He says WWF and WWE, which I thought was cool. And then he says, obviously, AEW, and he basically implies that almost everywhere he's gone, he's been a world champion. And yeah, again, like it elevates the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. It makes it feel important. I thought that it was a really smart idea to have Claudio put over the Blackpool Combat Club and put over the World Championship match, and also say, there's going to be 2 world champions in the Blackpool Combat Club come next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And again, it was a really well done segment because it puts over everything. It puts over this main event. It puts over the faction. It puts over the title, the Ring of Honor title. I thought it was great. I thought it was great work by Jericho and Claudio. Very classic kind of wrestling promo, but it was really good. Really loved it. It's going to be a great match, just like the coach.
Absolutely. I thought it was a good idea of them for Claudio to say, Blackpool Combat Club's going to have 2 titles at the end of the night, but Jericho challenging for the ROH title could change that. You know what I mean? So I actually really like that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next up we had Jade and the Baddies doing their thing backstage with or was that Alex Marvez, or was that it was the female, wasn't it? It was yeah, it was Lexi Nair. Sorry about that. So backstage with Lexi Nair, saying they basically ran through the entire AEW women's locker room and there was nobody left. And Diamante shows up. That was kind of unexpected for me to see Diamante, but I think she's actually a good challenger. But she claims that she's bringing somebody with her to challenge Jade. I'm not sure if they're doing a tag match or what's going on there.
Yeah, so I have some thoughts about this. Obviously, it starts with what we were talking about last week, where I think we're just at a point now where Jade should really just go through everyone she hasn't faced yet. I don't think there's any super credible threats left at this moment, so they're clearly going to have to start building something up. Although watching this Rampage tonight, I think maybe that person might be Willow Nightingale, but I don't know. I think that would work. But you're going to have to build her up a little bit more, I think. So yeah, they're doing this Diamante match. I think Diamante might be from New York, which is why they're doing Diamante here, I think. And yeah, she does tease that she's bringing an OG baddie from the 305.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. Did you get that? Are you able to figure out who she's talking about?
Someone on Twitter was speculating it might be some rapper. But I'm not 100%
like
sure.
Little Kim or something. That'd be crazy.
I can't think of anyone that she would be bringing with her in terms of a wrestling sense.
The only thing I could think of is I'm trying to think of who her wife is. Her wife is a wrestler. Mercedes Martinez, maybe? Oh, there we go.
Is Mercedes from New York?
I don't know.
Because she said that it's from the 305, which I believe would be New York.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will figure it out. She's the OG badass. Okay, it might be her, Nick. Yeah, we never know, man.
Oh yeah, that could make sense. It does make sense. So that could lead to Mercedes being the next challenger for the TBS Championship. Again, Jade beating Athena. There's not really much ready right now. So I guess it makes sense just to kind of, do these matches, and it's great to see Diamante make some TV time. So. Coach said, "I don't know where the 305 is. I thought that was Miami."
I have no clue,
I just assume it's New York because they're going to be in New York. So I don't know. But yeah, again, it's the TBS and TNT title should be this though. It should be, people getting opportunities for these titles. So I like that they're doing something different. I like that Diamante's getting some TV time. Do I think Diamante's going to beat Jade? Absolutely not. I would fucking bet a lot of money that Jade's winning this.
Oh, absolutely,
this match. Oh yeah, so coach just checked. It's Miami. Okay. So
it is Miami. All right.
I don't know. Is Sasha Banks from Miami? I don't know.
Oh, that'd be crazy. But it's probably Mercedes. That makes a lot of sense, Coach.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying it's probably Mercedes. That makes a lot of sense.
Probably. I can't imagine it being Sasha. They're doing that match on Rampage. Yeah. Which is going to be taped, so there's no way it would be something big like that. And it's going to be something cool or something, period. I don't know.
Yeah, no worries. All right, next up was Penelope Ford versus Willow Nightingale. I love seeing Willow. I thought this was a great match. My only complaint was, for a Friday Night Rampage, I thought Willow did a little bit too much of the smiling at the camera stuff, you know what I mean? But It's her gimmick.
That's
It's fine. What's that?
That's her character.
I know. But like the later half of the match, she didn't do almost any of it. I wished it was like all of that from her. But I
You're saying
realize
she
she's
should have
not
done
signed yet,
more.
so she's just doing her gimmick and stuff, and
Well, so hold on. I just want to make sure I understand. Are you saying that she should have done more smiling or less smiling?
To me, less of what she did at the beginning of the match, like when she would like do a takedown and smile, and like I don't know. I understand that it's part of her character. I just felt like for a Rampage, I wanted a little bit less of it. You know what I mean? Like on Dark and Elevation, I'm totally cool with it, but
No, but that's her. She's bubbly and happy, and also gonna kick your ass. Like that's her gimmick.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
But I hope to see a Willow is All Elite soon. I could be wrong. Have we seen that she's is she signed?
Not to my knowledge, but I mean, we've been learning that people are just kind of some of these talent are just working under deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to me if Willow isn't already signed. We just aren't really talking about it. I feel like the graphic is saved for the bigger stars that sign.
True. Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Like they just signed Ari Davari, and he didn't get a graphic. I mean, I guess Parker Boudreaux got one, but
yeah, I wish they would just do it for everybody. That's kind of like a big thing. Some people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But this was a really fun match.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Had a blast. But was very pleasantly surprised that Penelope won this match. I thought they were gonna like let Willow win this.
Yeah, I was expecting Willow to win this one actually. Penelope's been on that little bit of a losing streak, and Kip lost as well. I thought they might be doing some sort of storyline with that in the box, but Penelope pulls out the win with I don't know what she called that finishing move, but that was nice. It was like a leg sweep face first into the ground. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
So Penelope oh, she actually tapped her out with that submission move, didn't she? Yeah, that's what she did.
Yeah,
But I liked the setup to the
or a submission move,
yeah, the setup was a leg sweep on her front of her face. So
yep.
Next up was an awkward promo with Hangman and the Dark Order. Hangman was apologizing to the Dark Order for failing them, I guess, in the trios tournament. And then Roosh comes in and starts yelling at Hangman in Spanish. And Hangman says, "What the hell did he just say?" I thought this was okay. I'm kind of over the whole like, what was that guy saying type, thing, but it is what it is,
I'm going to be severely disappointed if this Dark Order storyline, because again, I'm not saying it has to be Bray. Like, it doesn't have to be.
No.
You know what I mean? But I'm going to be severely disappointed if this Dark Order storyline, the end point is the Dark Order breaks up because of Andrade's family office.
Yeah.
I'm going to be extremely underwhelmed and extremely disappointed in this whole storyline with all the teases and all the stuff. Like, I guess you want to do Andrade versus Hangman. Like, that's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great feud. But it seems like they're moving towards the Dark Order turning on Hangman and aligning with Andrade. Like, that's kind of where I see it going. They keep kind of side teasing at least 10 joining Andrade. But I mean, I don't know, man. They have this golden ticket battle royal, and it got announced for Arthur Ashe, and it's going to be like a world title shot, to the winner. And the Dark Order, they're all going to be in the match with Hangman, which that just screams to me like that's where they turn on Hangman. I just hope they do something cool. I don't want it to be Andrade. I mean, I think that's kind of lame, that they went that route with Private Party. They went that route with, just all the guys in the Hardy family office where they went and worked for Andrade, and that was their thing. I don't really want to see the Dark Order join Andrade and work under Andrade. I think at that point that the Dark Order is dead at that point, I think.
No, I agree with you on that one. And there's got to be something going on with the changing of the masks of Uno and 10 and nobody mentioning it. Normally when they change their mask, like somebody makes a joke about it on BTE or here or there. Nobody has mentioned it at all. And that new Uno mask, man, is just evil as all can be, and so is 10's new mask. Like, those things look wicked. I love them. So I'm really hoping that there's something going on here with the Dark Order. I mean, I actually do hope that they're going to turn on Hangman. I just hope it doesn't involve Andrade and Rush for very long. You know, maybe they can be the catalyst for it, but I hope they're not like a main, integral part of whatever story that becomes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. But I guess we just have to see what happens on Wednesday.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next up we had Ethan Page versus Danhausen. And man, they cut as Danhausen was making his ring entrance, they cut to Ethan Page for like a half of a second. And he looked like the happiest person in the world. He was smiling so from ear to ear just seeing Danhausen coming down, cuz they're kind of friends in real life, you know what I'm saying? So that was a cool moment that I got to see there for like a little split half of a second. It looked like he was extremely happy to be about to wrestle one of his best friends. And I thought they had a decent match. It went the way that it should have. We're trying to build up Ethan Page here, and he essentially squashed Danhausen, like he should have. And, this was good. I liked it from beginning to end. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a great little segment. I mean, in AEW, they do use Danhausen as not enhancement talent, but he is a guy that's going to lose a lot. He's not a credible, credible competitor at this point, which is fine. I mean, his gimmick is just that's what it is. And it's enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. So it was a fun segment. It was a fun match. It was quick. It wasn't too long. And Ethan looked great.
Yeah, he did look really good. The one part of the match I loved was that right at the beginning, Danhausen was going to do his curse thing, but instead of cursing, he did the Ethan Page smile, dimple cheek thing, whatever you want to call that. That was good. Then he got his face kicked off, but
Well, then Ethan Page responds with going to curse him, and then
yeah, and then kiss my ass. Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So this is great. Ethan Page wins via the I'm not sure what he calls that. I used to know it actually. What does he call that? The ego's edge. It's like the razor's edge. He calls it the ego's edge. Gets the 1, 2, 3, and that was great. Next up, we had a promo from Ricky Starks, and this was one of the first times that. Now, don't get me wrong here. This was still a fine, decent promo by Ricky Starks, but it was one of the first time he was on the mic that I wasn't like, yeah. I was just kind of like, okay. It wasn't, didn't amp me up like most of the time when Ricky gets on the mic does.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually. I thought this was fine. I didn't think it was anything special, which is kind of unfortunate considering that they're having their next match in what I assume is going to be a trilogy. This week or next week. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I tried to tell the coach that we were going to get this as a feud and that it's okay that Hobbs won. I think the coach might disagree with our takes, though. He just posted an emoji in the chat. Coach, if you like the promo, let us know.
He's wondering if they're going to wait for MJF to become champ at Winter is coming since it's in Long Island. I would say you are probably right.
I think they're waiting on that. I mean, MJF made it clear that he's not going to use his chip right away.
Yeah.
But I thought that this promo could have been a lot better. It wasn't bad. I don't think Ricky Starks has done anything bad on the mic.
Definitely wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It just, Ricky right now has really set a bar for himself.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
You're going to expect he's going to at least get close to it. But not every promo can be a home run. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But we're getting this rematch next week, and I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah, me too. I think you hit the nail on the head. He set a bar for himself, like where people are kind of comparing him to Young Rock. You know what I mean? And that needed to be a little bit better to be on the Rock level. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, again, I mean, even Dwayne had some not great promos. Not like,
oh yeah,
I know people remember like his hits, but he had some real big misses too. It wasn't always great. He once tried to make CM Punk. He tried to use Cookie Puss. Like, let's not forget how fucking awful that is. Like, I don't know. I don't want to get it.
All right, next up, it was time for the main event. We had Josh Woods versus Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. We got the Ring of Honor announcer and we got Ian Riccaboni on commentary. That was awesome. I really enjoyed the interaction between Jericho and Riccaboni, where Jericho was like, "Who are you? Where's the other guy from last week?" And he was like, "Oh, you mean Caprice Coleman?" He's like, "Yeah, I didn't like that guy." It was great. That was one of my favorite parts of the night.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yep. So this was a great technical wrestling match with like some brutality just mixed in here and there. I love Samoa Joe, and I think it was it JR on commentary saying like any wrestling organization would be absolutely proud to have a guy like Samoa Joe on their roster.
Yeah, that was JR. JR said that any promoter and any wrestling organization would die to have this guy on their roster.
Absolutely, man. This match was fantastic. He made Josh Woods look really good, or maybe Josh Woods made him look good, but it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, so Coach says he doesn't mind the Ring of Honor crew. He likes to mix up, honestly. And, I agree.
Yeah,
and
I'm
I
okay with
actually really like that, at least recently, correct me if you disagree or let me know if you disagree. But I feel like Tony's kind of been booking these rampages to kind of run like what he expects a Ring of Honor show to run like. I mean, Claudio is weekly on Rampage. ROH storylines are weekly on Rampage. I mean, it's not all Ring of Honor stuff. I mean, we got Penelope versus Willow, but a lot of people speculate that Willow is going to be a Ring of Honor staple as well. So it's definitely interesting, and it's definitely something to think about. But I think Tony's been kind of booking these rampages as Ring of Honor shows, and I think that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it makes sense. My only critique of it would be that if you're someone trying to get into AEW, it might seem a little weird to be like, okay, let's check this out, and you flip it on and you're seeing Ring of Honor championships all over the place. And you might be like, what? But it's not a big deal. I'm just saying, like, just trying to play devil's advocate of, what about some of those other fans who wouldn't really know what they're seeing? You know what I mean?
Well, I would argue to devil's advocate your devil's advocate
Go
that
for it.
I don't think the casual viewer. I think the casual viewer is more likely to tune in on Dynamite on a Wednesday at 8 o'clock
True.
than Rampage on a Friday night at 10.
100% true. Absolutely, I agree.
I think, I mean, and the ratings show that. Which again, Dynamite. Congrats on the stellar week this week, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. They held a million the entire show. That was great.
It was 1 point. I think it was like 1 point. What was it? It was over $1 million. It was like 1.2 million, and it was over the million the entire show. They almost dipped below $1 million for one segment for one quarter, but all 8 quarters over $1 million.
Yeah,
and I think
that's fantastic.
That's fucking wild. That's really good, especially without Punk, without the Bucks, without Kenny. That's really, really impressive, and it's really. Again, it's like we talk about all this negativity that goes around, and then you go and watch the show, and it's just like the shows are just so much fun and just so well done, and people are watching them. It's the second week. It's 2 weeks removed from the people are calling it the Brawl Out now. I don't know if you saw that. They're calling it the Brawl Out, and we're 2 weeks removed from Brawl Out, and
oh, that's great. How did I not think of that?
And it feels like a refresh, and people are tuning in, and they appreciate it. I mean, the shows are. Above $1 million. I mean, the 2 weeks ago wasn't consistently above $1 million, but it still did really well. And we'll have to see how this Rampage number does. I'm not expecting it to shoot up by a lot or anything, but it's definitely something to kind of keep an eye on. We'll see Monday, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure the card was big enough to make everybody want to watch Rampage here, but we'll definitely see how that looks, especially if they include the DVR numbers.
I would argue against it, actually. I think that they kind of built up a pretty strong card based off names. I mean, you had Matt Hardy and Darby Allin. Both are two very popular for two different reasons.
That is true.
You had Samoa Joe in action, and this is like his 4th or 5th match with the company. Maybe not Josh Woods, and maybe not the women, but yeah,
we don't often get Danhausen in ring. That's a good point.
Exactly, Danhausen. Yeah. Like there was some strong names here that were unique and would want people to tune in for Rampage.
Yeah, I could see it.
In my opinion.
No, yeah. Makes sense, sir. All right. So Samoa Joe winds up winning this one with the Muscle Buster, a freaking beautiful muscle buster, by the way. This one looked absolutely fantastic. Immediately after the bell, of course, Tony Nese attacks and Woods gets back up and he attacks as well. And we get Wardlow coming out for the save. Um, and I don't know about you, but I got one of my favorite things in wrestling here tonight when two champions give each other the high five with the belts. That is one of my favorite things. Like when it's not the tag team, you know what I mean? When a tag team does it, it's whatever. But like two different champions helping each other out and doing the whole like high five with the belts thing, I freaking love when that happens. So Wardlow comes out, makes the save. Samoa Joe they kind of have a little bit of a face off. So maybe one day we'll get like an exhibition match between the two. But they do the whole high five with their belts thing, and that's how we finish off tonight. Samoa Joe standing strong with Wardlow. I love it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought that this was a really great slugfest with the two heavy hitters. I mean, the coach said it best. Josh Woods looks like he would legit fuck you up.
Absolutely.
And Samoa Joe definitely doesn't look like a pushover either. Thought it was a great match. Yeah, the post match was great, and I love the ending with Samoa Joe and Wardlow. They do the belt high five thing, which I also really like. But I also think this really does a great job at elevating Wardlow because he's, Samoa Joe showing him respect.
Yeah.
A legend like Joe doing that for Wardlow is a big deal, and I think I thought it was a great way to end Rampage. Overall, I thought this was a really fun Rampage with a lot of story progression. And I really enjoyed that and I appreciated that. I would like to see more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. These rampages have been great with the storytelling, like you said, and they definitely tie up some ends, and they start some storylines going into our Wednesdays and stuff. So I definitely dig watching Rampage. So what did we get for this coming Wednesday? Do we have the entire card, or what we would imagine is the whole card?
I believe we have pretty much the whole card for both Wednesday and Friday.
All right.
All right. Well, so next week on Wednesday we have the first part of the Arthur Ashe Show Grand Slam for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. It is the finals of the Grand Slam Tournament of Champions. Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. It is the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. You know what, Jeff? This is kind of a big show. Why don't we run through some picks? You want to do some picks?
I'm sorry, some picks of who's going to win these matches?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's start with Danielson and Moxley because it's a big show. It's basically a pay-per-view level show on free TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mox versus Danielson. I'm thinking Danielson wins this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got Danielson.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because we were talking about Punk versus Mox being the biggest match in Dynamite history, but the commentators were selling this match as that match, and they might not be wrong when all is said and done. To be honest, it's kind of funny.
So with last week having over 1 million the entire show, so that means everybody knows that Danielson versus Mox is happening. Dude, we might get a 1.5, like 1.5.
So they deserve it. Oh. With this card on Wednesday, like they could do it too. All right, so next up for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, we have Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. So obviously it's time for the Acclaimed.
Absolutely.
It's just Tony missed the call a little bit there at All Out, but I think he's gonna right the wrong. He's gonna steady the course of the ship here, and we're gonna see the Acclaimed win. I think we see Swerve turn on Keith Lee after the match too.
Oh, 100%. I think we see some more of that, where they accidentally hit each other in the ring, which is going to cause them to actually lose this time.
Coach Nick saying, I thought the same thing. So many titles on the line. AEW is so awesome. Basically free pay-per-view or the other thing, which we don't talk about that here. Jeff might, but we don't. Jeff might want to talk about something that they have going on over there later. I don't know if he was pretty upset about it earlier. But we'll see how he's feeling. So yeah, I mean, Coach is right. This is a pay-per-view level show on free TV. You look at this card and you would assume this is a pay-per-view that they're doing. Next up, we have for the Ring of Honor World Championship, Claudio Castagnoli versus Chris Jericho. Who are you taking here?
I'm going to stick with Claudio to retain. I don't think it's time to take that belt off of him yet.
I agree with you. I would also like to point out the beauty and just like the masterful web of booking here, because keep in mind, this is still the JAS versus Blackpool Combat Club rivalry. We are still doing this fucking crazy storyline that has started in February between Jericho and Kingston. We are it's September. And this storyline is still going with fresh matchups that we haven't gotten yet. Like, that blows me away.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. We got the two best factions in wrestling right now, and they've just been going at it for months. I love it.
Yeah. I don't know if I said it. I'm also ticking Claudio here.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have the four-way dance for the AEW Interim Women's World Championship. We have Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb versus Athena versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Toni Storm has to retain here, I believe.
I completely agree. I'm calling Jamie Hayter pulling the ref out of the ring on Britt the same way she did to her, or something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Love me some Jamie Hayter.
All right, next up for the AEW All Atlantic Championship, the coach's prayers have been answered. Tony Khan from On High booking for the All Atlantic Championship, by the way. I think I already said that. Pac versus Orange Cassidy. And let's fucking go. It's Orange Cassidy's time to get some gold.
100% agree with you.
It's great. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be so, again, like I said it on Wednesday. When we go live this Wednesday, and we're living in a world where the Acclaimed are the World Tag Team Champions, Orange Cassidy is the All Atlantic Champion, and Bryan Danielson is my World Heavyweight Champion. That's it, man. I'm good. Like I'm 100% fucking doing phenomenal. I'm gonna be so happy.
Dude, I'll tell you, there's been multiple times in AEW's history where a few of our most important people or most popular people have disappeared without warning. And I thought, oh my gosh, what are we going to do here? But this roster that Tony has put together, every single time, I'm just like, oh, there we go. He's completely, there's just, I don't even know how to describe it. I can't put it into words, but Tony, it doesn't matter when his top guys go down. There's so many people for him to fall back on, and they all do a great job.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. Like, we talk about it all the time, whether it's injuries or anything else. Oh, we got a comment here. Darth Gillies.
Darth Gillies. 100% agree, man.
Yeah, what's up, man? He hopes Danielson wins the title. That would be good for the company at this moment in history. Completely agree with you, Darth.
Absolutely.
That would be fucking awesome. I'm so down for that. Like, let's just do it. But yeah, Jeff, to what you were saying, it's just incredible. Like, we're sitting here 2 weeks removed from the Brawl Out, which we're gonna start calling it that. That's what it is now. And like, obviously I want CM Punk to return, and obviously I want the Bucks and Kenny to return, and I hope everything can get smoothed over. But like, if we're in the timeline where that doesn't happen and they all leave, like, the company will be okay. Like, it's kind of fucking crazy. It blows my mind. Like, and that's why I said it's so polarizing, because you go on Twitter and you go online and you go everywhere, and it's just doom and gloom. You think that the company's over. You think next week is the series finale, and that's it. And then we all, well, I'll leave pro wrestling personally. Well, not leave pro wrestling, but it's like, oh, time to go back to the Fed. Like, I don't know about that. I'll probably just start watching New Japan.
It's really funny to see those ratings come out each week, and to see almost no matter what, people are like, up in the mud, up, they're dying, up. But this week, those people were nowhere to be found when we saw these Dynamite ratings.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But so, yeah, I mean, it's just a testament to what Tony's done. it's phenomenal, man. It's great.
Absolutely. All right.
All right, next up, so that's Dynamite. On Friday, we have the first match is Action Bronson and Hook taking on Daddy Magic Matt Menard and Cool Hand Angelo Parker. I mean, I think this is going to be Hook and Action Bronson pick up the
Yeah, I
win.
can't wait to see Action Bronson in the ring, man. That's gonna be very interesting. Let's hope he's decent and he puts on a good show, and I'm absolutely in for that one.
Yep. We have Eddie Kingston versus Sammy Guevara. I think this is kind of another Eddie. I think Eddie wins this one. It's in his hometown. I give him the win there.
Yeah. I'm hoping he throws him off the. Well, I guess there's not going to be a steel cage this time, but so I hope he still puts him through a table at least. We need another shout out and broken table of the week, you know?
Yeah, no tables this week, huh?
No, it hasn't been for like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Darth kind of hits the nail on the head here. He says AEW is the bomb. He doesn't want to see it go anywhere. It's the perfect alternative to WWE, even though he does appreciate the changes Triple H has made in a short time. I agree. I mean, I think Hunter's definitely done some good things there. I think Hunter's kind of doing some stuff that, his father-in-law would also do. So not 100% on board with him, but I mean, I definitely agree the product's better. And a healthy industry is a healthy AEW. I mean,
absolutely.
It's just they go hand in hand. You need AEW. You need WWE. You need AEW.
Yeah.
You need these places. You need New Japan. Like in my mind, those are the big three that you really need in pro wrestling. I mean, like you just need them.
No, I completely agree. And Darth might have had the most level-headed wrestling opinion I think I've heard in our chat in a long time.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely comment more often, Darth. Definitely comment more often.
Yeah, if you have not, please hit that subscribe button, Darth. Yeah, we definitely like people with those level-headed views around here. So.
Yes, please. We're in the cesspool that is the internet. We are a safe haven of good discourse. Yes. Minus one.
Unless you come to the Discord.
Yeah, I would caution that. Like it's a great place to be, and everyone's a great people in the Discord. Sometimes Juan gets a little, but I think he's just trolling, so it is what it is.
He's a huge WWE fan, and he likes to troll.
Chat tonight, so I think he's not here. So I'm just gonna say it. I would not be surprised if Juan actually does not like WWE, but just does it to try to get under people's skin.
Turns it up to 12.
Like that kind of guy. Where he's just like, I hate this shit, but everyone else does too, so I'm going to make them miserable.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, I could be right.
While we're on the topic of the E, let's go ahead with what I was, upset with earlier today. But I have seen some people kind of talk me off the ledge here. So they were hinting earlier today at Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. And my God, if that sounds like a good idea, from a business standpoint, sure. It's going to generate eyes and it's going to generate views. But I see people who are just viewers of the show defending it in that way. And I'm like, you're a consumer of their product, right? Would you go to a bakery that told you, hey, these donuts are gonna suck for like 3 months, but if you pay the full price on it and you continue to come here, they're gonna be great in like 6 months? If that's a good analogy, I'm not sure, but they're giving you
a shitty to what you're trying to say, but I get what you're trying to say.
They're giving you an extremely shitty idea at the cost of, at the benefit of getting a lot of views. It's tough to figure out how to say that, but I think you guys get it.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is, and I agree with you, they're trying to do a big money match now. They're doing Crash TV booking.
Yeah.
And which I have time and time again cautioned against. Crash TV booking, for those that aren't aware, Crash TV is you throw the biggest thing you can out there, regardless of what it means for your story, what it means for your product. It's like, it's not just a wrestling term, it's a TV term in general. Crash TV is you make people go like, oh my God, I got to tune in for this one episode to see what's going to happen. And you get really high numbers here. And then afterwards people are like, oh, well, now you've done this. What does that mean for your story in general? And then it just drops. And Crash TV is not sustainable. WWE has tried doing that in the past and it has not worked. That being said, I can understand from a business perspective doing this match. I think it's literally the most anti-Rome match in the history of the Fed. It's in Saudi Arabia. It's Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. And I'm just like, I could not be further away from this match. I'm so glad that I'm going to be working during this pay-per-view because it's going to be a Saudi show, so it's going to be at like noon, which on like a Wednesday probably, which is like the fucking dumbest thing you can do. They've always done these Saudi shows like that. It's just so stupid.
I'm pretty sure it's like a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's so stupid, man. It's like, man, this Saudi blood money, it must be really nice. But yeah, so I'm not even going to look at it from that aspect. I'm going to look at it from these aspects, right? So Logan Paul, I understand he may be good in the ring. I can acknowledge that he's definitely a lot better than people would have expected, than I expected. We watched SummerSlam, and he wasn't that bad against The Miz.
Oh yeah, he's good. I'll give him that. He's good.
The guy's wrestled 2 matches, and he's going to challenge the world champion. Now, my problem is that number one, what does that say about your roster? What does it say about your roster?
That's what I was gonna say. That's insulting to all these dudes who
your roster. Yeah. And I saw in the Discord today, Juan and Juhas were making arguments against like, oh, remember when Malone was on WCW? Remember when Jay Leno and they did all these people. And like my counter response to that, or like Shaq on Dynamite, my counter response is they were there, but were they for the world title?
Yeah, they weren't going after the world championship. No. They weren't facing Roman Reigns, who's supposed to be the GOAT.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. So here's like WWE is a one-guy company. You book your champion, Roman Reigns. You book the entire company around Roman Reigns. You have him be the champion for what's going to be 2.5 years, which is like, oh my God, like this is why I don't vibe with this company, because it's like at the end of the day, Vince McMahon won. He got what he wanted. He wanted Roman Reigns to be looked at as the greatest of all time, and he will be looked at the greatest of all time by the Fed heads. Because he'll be the world champion for almost 3 years in an era where that just doesn't happen, and it sucks. But like I don't know, like I don't see this working out in any good way. So okay, so Roman beats Logan Paul, and like, well, why is Logan getting a title shot? He has 2 wins under his belt in the company. And like, at least do a number 1 contenders match, at least do a battle royale, at least do something where it makes sense to kind of get him to challenge for the title. How did this start? It started on fucking Twitter.
Yeah,
like
it was his podcast too. Like, but can you imagine? Like, I'm sure you've seen it all week that they're having trouble figuring out what to do with this Roman Reigns problem of having both belts. Could you imagine that they actually put one of these belts on Logan Paul? Like,
at that point, we could just say Rome was right again.
Yeah.
With Hunter, and just like here's the thing, right? And I don't want to knock it because I know that some things have gotten better, but the Fed still does Fed things all the time. You're talking about EO and Dakota getting beat by what's their names? Raquel
Rodriguez and
Raquel and Aaliyah, which are not good. I saw clips on Twitter. They're not good. They're garbage. Which I don't want to be like that guy, but they're not very good.
And then they lose it 2 weeks later.
Exactly. And then they lose it 2 weeks later, which again, Crash TV, it doesn't work. And it's just, I don't know. You're devaluing your roster by giving Logan the shot. And then if Logan beats Roman, then you fucked up the Roman Reigns thing, which like, at that point, it's just hilarious. Like, how have you fucked up Roman Reigns in 2022? Like, that's this guy. You put your whole company behind making this guy the GOAT.
Roman can't lose until Cody comes back. There's no way.
Right, and I agree with that, unfortunately. But like, if they want to separate the belts because Roman's not on TV on a weekly basis anymore because he stepped back and he's got them by the balls, and what are they going to do about it? Well, they're not going to do anything about it until Cody comes in. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, it bothered you, and I kind of let it go on the Discord because I was having a good Friday, and the last thing I wanted to do was to get into an argument on Discord. But
Yeah.
I was like, man, like this is really not good, and like defending it is not good. It's not a good look to be defending this match. Like, ugh.
What bothered me is like fans defending the match by saying it's going to be good for business. And I'm like, why do you care that they make money? You should care that you're getting a good product. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I
it's
don't go eat at a fancy restaurant because I want that chef to make money. It's because I want good food. Like,
well, I think this is the AEW effect. You have these hardcore WWE fans who want what AEW fans have. Like, as an AEW fan, I've been there since day one of this company, and I feel emotionally invested, not in just the talent, but the company itself. It's a revolution, and that's what happens when you have a revolution that comes in
yeah,
and shakes up that respective world. AEW comes in and like, again, I'm a day one guy. I've been to 5 or 6 shows at this point. It would have been more if it wasn't for the pandemic. Keep in mind, the pandemic happens and we've been to 5 shows.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The company spent over half of their history in Jacksonville, and we've still been to 5 shows. Like, hello.
yep,
So over like a 2-year span, we're talking here. But it's just like I want the company to do well. So when the company's doing well, I do feel like I'm doing well. WWE is not the same thing. WWE is a corporation. It is a conglomerate. Like, it's not a revolution. And I think that there's just some kind of envy almost, where it's like WWE is just like, all right, well, or the WWE fans are just like, well, we want to feel like we're part of something like that too. Where WWE, they don't do that. Like, they have the WWE universe, and that's basically like, all right, go sit in the playpen and watch what we're doing.
yeah,
And it's just like at no point in my entire WWE fandom did I ever feel like I was part of something. Like, I was a fan of the product, and I loved the product, at back then, but like I never felt like I was part of something. With AEW, I feel like I'm a part of this. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
Like if AEW were to ever go under, right? Like, I would tell people decades from now, like, AEW, man, like, that was fucking special. Like, that was a truly special time. Much like, ECW was here in Philly back in the day. It's just it's a movement, it's a revolution, and people want to feel involved. So that's why WWE fans are doing that, Jeff. They're reacting to this because they want to see WWE draw this big money so they can go to the AEW fan and be like, look, guys, I'm part of something too. Ha. And it's just like, no, it's not the same.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've been here since day one. I even watched the press conference where they kind of like announced Jericho come out. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I did too. Yeah, special.
All right. So one more thing I want to touch on before we get out of here tonight is: did you see MJF and Sheamus on Twitter?
Yeah, that was wild.
Oof, MJF is a savage, man. He instantly shut that down. But I do have to say, in Sheamus's side there, I think he was talking about The Miz when he was talking about scarves. But,
No, I don't think so. I think he was absolutely talking about MJF.
Yeah, but hasn't The Miz always had a scarf as well?
Not the whole time.
No, he usually has the suit. You're right. It's like nice suit and tie, but...
Well, also, MJF kind of brown noses to Baron Corbin on Twitter a lot.
Yeah, he definitely does.
But... yeah, because Baron Corbin shits on the AEW fans, the online fans too.
But yeah.
I have a few more matches to go through.
Okay, go for it.
For the TBS Championship, we have Jade Cargill versus Diamante.
Okay.
I think Jade,
obviously Jade's going to take that one.
Yeah. They have this golden ticket battle royal, which the winner gets a world title shot at a already determined date. So I thought that wording was also really interesting because, again, it kind of further implies that MJF can use this whenever he wants, which I think Coach kind of hits the nail on the head. I think it's a winner is coming in Long Island is probably the place you do it.
Yeah, so this golden ticket I have a tiny bit, I don't know if it's a problem with or maybe a question, but the MJF chip thing, he's already out there, he has the chip. now it's gonna be like that. There's almost like 2 of these out there, or is this
No.
person just
So
gonna have an automatic shot on a certain date?
that was what I was getting to. So the wording of this seemed very specific to say that the winner of this match will have their title match. It's already selected when the title match will be. Darth saying he'll definitely be back to listen in chat, and he wants to find out the Discord. It looks like Jeff just linked him to the Discord right there. Yeah, man, definitely come back. We love having you here. Definitely come back. Great comments, great conversation.
Yep, just click that link right there on the Nightbot, and he'll send you right to our Discord.
Yep. Now, another thing about the Battle Royale is we don't know how many people are in it. The graphic card, though, has Lance Archer, Jay Lethal, Penta, and Hangman, and that's it.
Okay.
We don't know how many people are in it. We don't know. We know the Dark Order said that they're all in it. Something that really bums me out about this, though, is that it's on Rampage. So they're not going to do anything too special here.
No.
Because they're not going to not do it live. If they're going to do something crazy, like if Bray were to show up in this Battle Royal, it wouldn't happen because it's going to be on Rampage.
No.
Which is why Rampage needs to go live, Tony. But we'll see what happens with that. Next up, we have Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks.
Let's go, Ricky.
Be great. Ricky will probably win this match, and then also for the rubber match. We have Ray Fenix versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry, which that is a low-key match of the week contender right there.
Where'd that come from, though?
It's just a match that they're booking. Again, Jack Perry said he wants to get in wrestling shape to go after Luchasaurus, so he wrestled Jay Lethal last week, and he's going to wrestle Fenix here.
That almost makes me think, I was kind of noticing Fenix is doing a little tiny bit of heel stuff here and there, so I was wondering, all right, makes sense. We have possible heel versus babyface there. Okay.
Possibly. And then lastly, we have 2 more matches. We have no DQ match, Sting and Darby Allin versus the House of Black. Which...
That's going to be crazy. There's going to be some tables broken in that match for sure.
Probably.
For sure.
I would go with House of Black here if I was booking the show.
Me too.
I think with Malachi being out, I think you got to give these guys a win, and I think give them a big win here. I think it makes sense. You should do it.
Yep, Darby got his win here, tonight. Time to go through a table and take the pin, Darby.
Yeah. And then lastly, it was announced right as Rampage went off the air, which I'm really excited for this one even. Samoa Joe and Wardlow are teaming up to take on Tony Nese and Josh Woods. What a baller team that is.
Oh, dude, that's going to be a lot of muscle in the ring, man. Freaking Tony Nese has like -1% body fat. Josh Woods legit looks like the dude in high school, like on the wrestling team that would just absolutely annihilate everybody. Like... that's gonna be a good match, man. These dudes it's gonna be meat slapping meat.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right, so the game is still not working on the PC here right now, so and it is past midnight, so I think we're just gonna call it tonight. You want to go over anything else before we get out of here?
No, I think I'm good, but I would like to make a request that we have 10 people in the chat right now and watching with us. We have 9 likes. Can we get that to 10 likes real quick before the show ends? It would we'd really appreciate that. It would mean a lot to us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us tonight as well for our Rampage review. We are here every Friday night and every Wednesday night after Dynamite and Rampage. We're also here for all pay-per-views as well on the weekends, no matter what day they're on. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and close this out, sir?
Yep, absolutely. Well, this has been episode 76 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like and subscribe or a follow, depending on where you find us. Thank you to everyone who hung out with us here today on YouTube. If you're not aware, our Rampage show, our Friday show, is YouTube exclusive, so we appreciate you guys. If you want to take us on the go and listen to us not live, you can check us out on our Wednesday Dynamite review on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can follow us on Twitter at Broken Table Show or on Facebook and Instagram at The Broken Tables Podcast. As Jeff said, we go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. Grand Slam, big week, a lot of wrestling. We got Elevation, Dark, Dynamite, and Rampage. 2 hours of Rampage. Jeff, you're gonna be falling asleep, man, because it's at 10 o'clock still. So we're gonna be burning the midnight oil on Friday night.
Go.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
And make sure you take a nap. You're gonna need a nap to.
Oh, I will. I'll get myself a nice Red Bull.
Yeah.
We'll
that
be
being said, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy football if your teams are playing. My team's playing on Monday. But yeah, everyone have a great weekend. Go Birds, and we'll see you guys next time.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us tonight. Coach Nick, been great as always, sir. Darth Gillies, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. And until next time, Top Guys out.